Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the Maine in Ranked, where this ship absolutely slaps everything. This ship is so good in close quarters, and Ranked, of course, with these smaller teams and generally closer caps are going to give you insane games with this ship. And I know not everybody has this ship quite yet, but soon enough you all will be able to get this thing. And I've been having a blast with it in this Ranked season here, mostly because it does that. Just massive hits. This is a very long video, I know, but I've basically distilled down around 3 hours worth of ranked games into the best brawling and action bits, dev strikes, all sorts of really fun, awesome times with Maine, and also some of the deaths that I've had where I haven't played particularly well. It's not all perfect matches, don't you worry. But starting things off here, Monty at long range, nice little Citadel salvo, and the next Montana decides he's gonna go broadside as well. Those best round of builds is what two in this, initially starting off with a bit more aggressive builds and trying to make the most out of this ship at closer ranges. In randoms, this ship is a little harder to play at these closer ranges just because there's gonna be a lot more people shooting at you. And things like no hydro, for example, gonna mean you're gonna die to torpedoes. So oftentimes I found myself trying to push in, full sending every match like this, and sometimes we'd run into DDs that were very good and torped us out. So that's how we're gonna die in this one. But my whole philosophy going into this was I'm gonna play ranked and just full send it in, W key, and see what we can accomplish with the Maine, because this ship is very, very tanky. That's kind of the gimmick here. Sure, you do have more Monty guns, right? 16 Montana guns, a little worse Sigma, but for the most part, 16 Monty guns and more HP, better hull armor and all that. But what really sets this thing apart is the funny button here. Battle on, there we go. Pretty common tactic while I was playing, just full send it in, then battle on. These combat instructions are excellent. You're gonna see them used very well here. And they are going to give you reduced fire and flood damage, as well as give you better AA continuous damage. But we're really using them for the reduced fire and flood damage. So you can aggressively use your damage control, and then while your damage control is on cooldown, if you get lit on fire or you're flooding, then you can go ahead and pop your combat instructions and take massively reduced fire and flood damage. It makes the ship very, very difficult to burn down. So that's what's going to happen here. We've used our damage control, we get an insanely good hit into the Patrice superstructure, and we get lit on fire instantly. Damage control goes down, and instantly we're on fire again. But that's okay, because we have these combat instructions. We split the Z-52 torpedoes. That's not always going to happen, but luckily for us, he left us a very nice large gap, because this is a big ship. Allows us to catch no torpedoes this time. Very nice. And just sitting in the cap here, waiting for this Ohio to come out. He's kind of just forgotten about us at this point. So at close ranges, Maine, 16 Monty guns, well, not quite the full dev strike, but so close. This thing absolutely slaps people. It's so nice. And I do think this ship trolls from time to time, but for the most part, you're gonna get some really nice salvos. I notice we're still on half HP here, and our damage control is back up and available to us. 31,000 damage there at that angle, huge hit, and still living, putting a lot of pressure on this enemy team. Damage control's about to go down. There it is, it's out, so we're vulnerable to fires now, as we take a double fire instantly. The game wanted to kill us. We'll take the Ohio out, we'll get a nice big hit on this Patrice as well, and that's our combat instructions back. Triple fire? No problem, we'll live through that with these combat instructions. Although I am going to go down here at this point. But lots of aggressive brawling, tanking out of the Maine. I get a little greedy for the cheek of the Patrice there, the rear cheek there, and don't get it. A little too greedy, should have just gone superstructure. Next game, pushing in, W key, and we're going to die very quickly. So I'm getting some really good games, and then I'm going to die very quickly in some of these as well. So not every time is it correct to just full send it in, but it certainly is more fun. Here I don't even actually farm up my combat instructions before I die, actually. Hey, nearly 2 million potential damage already. That's pretty quick. And I think I went back to port there just to change my build. I did, yes. This is the next game. where I ran full reload. So we've got reload mod, not accuracy mod. We got secondary range. We've got the skill that's giving us better reload when someone is within our secondary range. We've got Furious. We've got heavy AP. This is the close range build, basically. And you're going to notice some of the salvos are less accurate, but the reload on 16 406s, insane. Didn't end up continuing with this build for a very good reason a little bit later. But I think running a full reload or mostly reload build with the accuracy upgrade in the 6th slot is a really powerful build on Maine in ranked specifically. GK here giving us enough angle that we should get some decent hits into his belt armor. But yeah, 25k front guns. Yeah, very good. You're going to notice a bit of a theme here where German battleships are just getting bullied by the Maine. It is... I mean, all the way throughout, it is just disgusting how much damage this thing is going to go to do to German battleships. We're on like, what, a 21-second reload here right now? So we actually get our front guns back. 22-second reload Maine. 22-second reload Maine. And we're on half health, man. Like, AR is only giving us 10%, not the full 20 if we were almost dead. Here we go. Broadside Ohio. What's the downside of full reload build? Well, you know, you don't have accuracy, so we do 11,000 to the Broadside Ohio. So that's basically why I didn't take it. Although, that said, maybe we just got unlucky. Maybe that was just unlocked dispersion. Because this Shima was like dead, I think 4 times over. Not all the shells hit, and like 5 full pens. Imagine old full pens, guys. We would have killed like 20 Shimas there. Crazy. On to the next one. We're moving very quickly through this because lots of games to get through, and I got plenty of excellent moments. GK, long range. Let's just hit his superstructure for like 20k. You know, not a big deal. It's going to happen a lot, by the way. Maybe we need to talk about that a little bit, that poor German battleships, they're supposed to be good at brawling, and then you give them the biggest superstructure in the game that allows you to do 20, 30k salvos. I think I got a 35k salvo into a Hanover superstructure angled later on in this video, which is like a really good salvo into a broadside Hanover or GK. Like, you're pretty happy with that into a broadside one. I don't know, maybe it's a little much to do that kind of damage to superstructures. I don't know. But hey, I guess if we overbuffed German battleships and made the superstructures take almost 0 damage at a certain point, then maybe they would be able to push in too much. I don't know. This guy decides to walk out broadside. We'll take that. Not the best dispersion. I think I swapped back to accuracy, or I'm pretty sure I did. If not, then that might be the reason for that bad salvo, but I'm pretty sure I swapped back pretty much right away. Most of those full pens were actually on the Satsuma across the map. Dealing with this GK, we're going to get low here. This is not a great position to be in, by the way, especially with the enemy team on the A flank coming back to deal with us, Satsuma, but also the Kondu. Kerr first pushing in, aim for superstructure, front guns only, gets us 12k damage. That's like, what, 10% of his HP? Maybe a little bit more. And then, I think, is he going for his rear guns? I don't know, but he opens up enough that we get our rear guns to do another 24,000 damage. Just massive hits overall. And we do manage to live this, even though we got low, did manage to live. And now, juicy target here. We got ourselves a Des Moines alone on the flank, and he's broadside. Yeah. Is that what you were expecting? It certainly wasn't what I was expecting. So you can get a little bit trolled here and there. Don't worry, though. Most of the salvos are going to do more damage. 9 over pens. And guess what we get now that he's on very low HP and basically dead? You know, right? You know. It's the Citadel. Instantly. Pretty funny. The game is should maybe be put in the comedy section. The humor section tag should be added to the Steam page. I don't know. Satsuma, go for the cheek here, looking good. We're winning this game. Didn't need to pull out of here, but wanted to get that cheek shot. Nearly 50k. And he slaps us for like 30, 40k back. He used his funny button, though. That's very important to note. Maine does have a citadel, by the way. If you didn't know, Maine definitely has a citadel to worry about, which is nice. I actually think that's a really good game design. I think having a ship that's super tanky when angled with a vulnerable citadel when it goes broadside is excellent game design because it allows you to get punished for making mistakes, like going broadside. You know, there's a little 57k salvo into a Stalingrad, just as an example. But when you're angled, you take reduced damage, or that's the hope. And I would love to see that just continue as we get new ships into the game. I would love to see that be the direction. Maybe even changing some old ship models, that kind of thing, would be great. I like that much, much more. And we're gonna get, I think it's this game, certainly this map and this cap where I get citadeled a bunch. I think it is actually this game. We're still gonna live because we just have so much HP, but we're gonna get citadeled a bunch here. And I think it's good because I get caught broadside. Somebody positioned their ship well. I think it was the Schlieffen on this game, actually. And we take a bunch of citadel damage. We do manage to finish off the Stalin for that first blood. Very nice. Des Moines pushes aggressively into the cap with us. That's something that can work in your favor if you're playing a tanky battleship like this in rank, just to talk a little bit about rank strategy in that. I'm not really thinking too hard. I'm just W keying into the closest cap to me, basically. But typically your teammates will push up a little bit more when they see you going in. They'll have a little more confidence to go in with you and give you some support, which is nice. Although in this case, I need to body block for my Des Moines here because he's going to die rather quickly. So I'm hoping that maybe I can take some of the focus of this curve first, maybe the Schlieffen as well. I don't want to give flat broadside to just eat a ton of citadels, but I'm hoping that maybe he'll look at me. All the while, each of our front and rear sets of turrets doing like 10 to 15,000 damage into the superstructure of this GK. He's just going to stay angled to us the whole time, which is smart. But it doesn't matter because it's a GK. It just takes so much damage into that poor superstructure. That poor gigantic German superstructure, man. Not great, but that's okay. Here we go. Schlieffen flanking us. I see it coming. And he's got his torps out, man, to prevent me from moving forward, which is a really good play by him. And looking back, I probably should turn away. As I kill this curve first, I should definitely be turning left and trying to angle to this guy. Instead, I try to turn right, and you're going to see that that just keeps us broadside to him for even longer. So here we go. 81,000 damage on our ship right now, and there was one citadel. Luckily, his next turret didn't get one. Okay, another one, another two, so that's 4 citadels? Is that it? We've taken 4 citadels from this Schlieffen right there. Pretty good for a Schlieffen, but also this is an exposed citadel. This is well above waterline. This isn't like Monty. It's, you know, if the equivalent of Wisconsin is a deck below water compared to Monty, this is a deck above water compared to Monty. We'll take him out with a couple citadels of our own, which is nice. And that one last parting salvo from him gets another one. So that's like 5 or 6 citadels we took there. Fortunately, Schlieffen doesn't have the best alpha damage, so we can take those and not feel, you know, completely die. But notice we can't heal at all. But I think that's good, right? Like, if I get caught broadside, I should take citadel damage. This case also being that I think Puerto Rico just didn't have the pen or something. He probably could have citadeled us there, honestly. He should have the pen at that range. I don't know why we didn't get citadel there as well. So, you know, not playing perfect, but just pushing in, trying to make things happen. We got ourselves some very nice damage into his bow there. Unfortunately, Puerto Rico's another one of those designed to not really have an exposed citadel. So full pens is really all we can ask for there. And that's what I'm going for here. Just trying to get full pens into his bow is the idea here. Unfortunately, these somehow overpen through his bow. I guess I put it a little too far left, but still. We'll take it. Nice little win there. Over 200k damage in that one. Feels pretty good. And shows how this ship can take a lot of damage if you go broadside. Mostly at close range, though, to be honest with you. If you're outside, let's say 15, 16. Well, it depends on the ship. But let's say like 20, outside 20 kilometers, you can be broadside to basically anything in the game. And you're not going to eat citadels. Does, I think, unlock dispersion, giving us like a 20k hit in on that defense. Pretty nuts, considering some of our lock-on salvos. Oh, another Hanover, another German battleship that's angled to us. What's going to happen? Yep, just, you know, another 20 to 25k salvo into his superstructure. It's shockingly consistent against those German superstructures, man. It's crazy. They're just so massive that even the reduced Sigma doesn't really impact it all that much. And when you get good dispersion, well, even into some cruisers, you can do some really nasty things. even when they're angled. You know, there's some auto bouncing there too, but superstructure hits, and if you hit the bow or stern, you're just gonna full pen through that. GK, close range. I'm going for his guns. I tried to take his guns out before he shot me because I am greeding for this upgrade. Arms race, of course, you have some buffs that you can add to your ship, and in this case, it's just passive HP regen, which is a pretty powerful one. And I decided it was worth it to just sit broadside to this GK. Fortunately, I only got like 12k into me with that initial salvo. That could have been much worse. As we know, you can take big hits to your broadside. But now that we're angled, yeah, there's another 25k to a German battleship superstructure. I know it's extreme because this is like the biggest alpha damage salvo in the game, right? But that's a lot to an angled ship, man. I'll take it. I'll take it for sure, but that's a lot into an angled ship, dude. And yeah, he's just done. Poor guy. We do manage to avoid the deep waters from the Yu Yang. Feels pretty good. And now we got to deal with a Hanover. And a little worried about showing this much broadside at these ranges. He can certainly citadel us. So do the old slow down and turn in and hope the shells miss. Fortunately, they do. And we're on pretty low HP. Hanover's on pretty high HP, although I do have teammates around me, so we should be okay. But this is just kind of the massive strength of Maine is, sure, the like insane broadside weight is certainly there. I mean, yeah, like another 22k into his superstructure, but also the tankiness, man. It just survives. So you're getting these salvos coming at you, especially with this build, pretty quick. And it just lives is what this ship does. It just survives. Interestingly, in this game, actually, we should get to our 5th heal. The build, as I'll show you at the end, or ranked specifically, wouldn't recommend this build for randoms, but for ranked specifically, we aren't taking the extra heal on our 4th slot. It's for 4 points. It's for 3 points. The one that reduces the reload time as well and gives you an extra charge at 2 million potential damage. Pretty easy to get 2 million potential damage in this ship, so feel pretty comfortable doing that. And very interestingly, you will be able to use that heal, that extra heal you get instantly if you've used up all 4 of your other heals already, which is pretty cool. And I can show you that at the end of this game. Hanover, about to die here, unfortunately for him. This is, I mean, it's just so consistent into that superstructure, man. And we're still alive here. And again, using those combat instructions to deal with fires, permanent fires on our ship, it's amazing for that. It really, really is. It's so good. Schlieffen yet, as well as the Yu Yang. So we're just chilling here, waiting for the cap circle to be done, basically. That's going to be the win. But yeah, even Hanover was realizing in the in-game chat, it hits so hard. It certainly doesn't have Columbo angles, but having these, I think it's 30-degree angles, actually. Let me check here. I'm not intending to, you know, record this and split it all up like I usually do. This is just a longer video where I'm just going to be rambling about stuff. Let's go. Ship tool. Live here while this Schlieffen is going to die. Main turret angles. What do we got? Yeah, it is 30. I thought it was 30. It's 30 degrees, front and back, which is pretty nuts. When a GK has to deal with, what, 45? Yeah, and there goes Schlieffen. All right, 233. And look at this. No heals remaining. About to cross 2 million potential damage, and it comes back instantly. So it hasn't happened very often. I think I've had it once, maybe twice, where I've been using my heal, and it ticks out, like I'm done using my heal, and there's no heals remaining, and then I cross 2 million potential damage, and I can instantly use that heal right away, which has saved my life maybe once or twice. It's rare that you get that opportunity, but it's pretty cool. I think that's a really nice little feature of that skill, that if you've gone through all of them and you manage to tank just a little bit more, you can get that heal right away. Pushing the enemy spawn here, sometimes you got to do that. That's one of the reasons this build won't work as well in random battles, because people are very passive in random battles. Nice 25k hit into the angled Monty. At that angle, we are hoping for kind of those cheek citadels, but still very nice hit. And just gonna full send it into these guys. We got destroyers helping us, certainly, but Monty decides the best idea for him is to go broadside to a Maine at 6 kilometers. So Since he's turning away, we want to hit under the rear guns. That's kind of the idea here. That's the best angle for us. And we get 11,000 damage. It trolls sometimes. It trolls sometimes, okay? Most of the salvos are insanely good, right? But it trolls every once in a while. Unfortunately for us. But hey, this Satsuma decides to go broadside to eat all of those torpedoes. And then our front gun's almost reloaded here. And again, going for that cheek shot on Yamato-class ships, or similar hull, basically. Similar Citadel design, getting us 3 Citadels there. Very nice. And we still have our rear guns. So I'm just barely going to angle enough to get our rear guns across. Probably a little greedy at this angle to go for that Citadel. He's angled enough that they shatter, unfortunately. And I didn't actually shoot both of my rear guns. So it's not quite the exact same angle at these closer ranges, since the rear gun does have to pull out just a little bit further. But that's okay. I think my team finished them off. So not the most damage in this one, but hey, we pushed the enemy spawn, managed to win it. Ooh, this game, okay. So at the end of last game, I was shooting a DD. That's why I have HE loaded. But look at this salvo into a Vermont, okay? 17,500 HE damage into a Vermont. That's crazy, man. So much HE damage. Maybe you just spam HE out of this thing, given that, honestly. Wild. I kind of overly aggressively use my damage con here, maybe, since there's more torpedoes coming for us. We're not going to push through this, by the way. So we're not full W key at all costs. Broadside Vermont. He's on 80,000 HP. And no Citadel. Unfortunate, but hey, we put him down to like 30,000 HP, so like a 50k salvo without a Citadel. Heavy AP certainly helping us out there, but no Citadel feels a little unfortunate there. Again, that's where I wish more ships were designed like Maine, where you go broadside, your Citadel is exposed. You know, I'm gonna eat some Citadels here, I think, from Unicum, and actually do some pretty good damage into his superstructure here as well. But we managed to live this. Yeah, there we go. 14,500 there from that Citadel. I think that's good, right? I made a mistake. And then we do 17 back to his superstructure with just the front guns getting past. When the accuracy doesn't troll you, man, the damage output here is kind of good. I like it a lot, especially at close ranges. That's the important thing. Vermont only going to get our front guns in the sky, but still showing broadside. Got our EP for now. And this time, well, this time we get a Citadel, so we'll take it. That's the first blood on that poor Vermont. 17,500 damage from HE, man. That's crazy. Oh, look at where this Yushikov's guns are, by the way. He's going to shoot all of his guns at us, and only one turret's looking at us. Kind of odd. Hey, game's still in beta. Boom! There we go. Big hit, big hit. I'm just joking about the beta thing. It's just a meme. But that's like 80,000 damage dev strike into the Ushikov, man. Wow. I think that's my best main salvo I've had, like, ever. I'm trying to think of if I've had more than 80k dev strike into someone. But, I mean, that feels pretty good, man. That feels pretty good. He got a decent hit into us as well. The reason I pushed so aggressively around the corners, I was checking his guns. Like, I was like, oh, his guns aren't looking at me. Great. Not all of them are. I can push and not have to worry much about the angle. Oh, this clip, by the way, I was talking there, but Satsuma missed us completely with his front guns there. Like at 3 kilometers, he just didn't hit us at all with his front guns. That sucks, man. Like, the other Satsuma with the funny button, with his 35% accuracy buff, he did do like 40k to us at a similar range and angle. So very, very random is one of the reasons I don't like playing Satsuma quite as much. And certainly into ranked battles, Satsuma's not tanky enough at close ranges for me to feel like I want to take it as much. And Maine really just fits this game out so well. Shimakaze here, bit of longer ranges, didn't quite lead this one enough, but the damage into DDs, man, is quite extreme. Especially with the AP here. So many shells, man, it just hits so hard. Typically, I find myself wanting to shoot AP into DDs at range, because whenever you hit their modules with HE, it does reduce damage. I don't think I put a clip in here to show that, but later or sometime in this main stream, I hit a DD for 3.7k damage with 3 HE shells, where 3 AP shells would do over 4. So it's one of those things where HE is really good into DDs if you can guarantee the hits on the hull. That's when it's going to do the most damage, or guarantee those full pen damage at full pen damage, and that's going to be better. So not always is it right to swap to HE when you're dealing with destroyers, but there are times. Typically, I'm doing it at closer ranges, which is under 10 kilometers, really. Certainly at 5 to 7 or 8 kilometers, I do want to swap to the HE, especially if they're broadside. Then, yeah, the HE is going to slap people. You know, just peppering a Hanover again, 30k from 2 salvos into his superstructure at long range. And that's the reason I don't really enjoy playing Hanover in this as much. It's still really good. Hanover still does very well in ranked and these closer range game modes, but those superstructure hits get a little old. Now, Z52 is on 11,000 HP, and we do 7 full pens for 10,000 damage. I actually haven't done the math on that. Would that have killed him? That might have killed him with AP, actually. But, you know, still really close. Man, I must have left him on like a sliver of HP there. I was really hoping to have taken him out there, but that's okay. Now we just got to deal with a Hanover, and I'm not going to continue pushing just because enemy sub in the middle. A little worried about that. This is a good enough position to really spot as well as get damage in. That's another thing you're going to notice, that when you push in so aggressively, and if you live, right, you still have to live, obviously, which I didn't accomplish every time, as you saw earlier in this video. You're going to be doing a ton of spotting for your teammates as well. So anybody playing a lighter cruiser or any squishier ships that have a lot of damage output, you're going to be doing good work for your team and just giving them spotting, where they don't have to risk their ship nearly as much. And taking all that focus fire helps them out too quite a bit. Our Des Moines seemingly has this Venice under control, so don't need to worry about that. And we're just going to focus in on this Hanover and the Balau here. A little worried about Z-Torps at some point. If he's got Adrenaline Rush, then that's a pretty scary Torp reload. So just going to continue to back up. I think this salvo, actually. Pretty sure it's this salvo where we absolutely crush this Hanover superstructure. We're on 105,000 damage right now, so something to keep in mind. And let's see what we get after this one. It's gonna lead it a little bit, maybe a little too much actually, but considering the salvo I get, obviously not. Trying to go for that sub anytime I can. Look at that damage. 105 up to 140. And I guess he went broadside. Maybe it was broadside enough that some of those were full pens into his, looking back, he might have been broadside enough that those were full pens into his belt as well. Okay, so maybe not fully angled 35k, but we certainly hit 25k into some of these Hanover and GKs, which is still just a lot of, probably too much damage maybe into them. And I'm not saying that I want Maine nerfed, by the way. I'm saying that because I want maybe GK and Hanover and maybe just superstructures to not take full pens or saturate more. I don't know. 25,000 damage into the Vincent there. Even at that angle, I thought more of that would have bounced. Just fighting Vincents, I'm used to them not really taking much damage when they are speed boosting like that and turning. So pretty happy to see that as well. Just a Des Moines left. Since he's bow on like this, I'm going to just single fire turrets. Maybe I should have just mashed salvo fire. I don't know. But this is kind of interesting how long this guy's actually going to live here. He does use the island well to protect his citadel here, so aiming up a little bit more to get some more superstructure hits, or trying to hit the upper bow to just guarantee some full pens into him. Check the reload though. Let's see here. When we shoot, 24 seconds. So even without reload mod, this is accuracy mod. Still 24-second reload on the Des Moines. Looks like I'm aiming a bit far back. Maybe. You got to hit right underneath that front turret. You'll see it. I think our third turret this salvo, not the first two, but the third turret this salvo dev strikes him. You'll see where you need to aim then. It's a little bit of RNG, you know, whether you're gonna do damage or not to these bow-on cruisers at closer ranges. We've done nothing, and then it's a dev strike, right? It's very random. You're playing a battleship. It's very, very random. And you're reliant on 16 guns to do that consistent damage for you. Austin here, broadside on. I was thinking he might reverse, but he didn't, so we miss. Fair enough. Good juke. Our next rear turrets, that's kind of why I saved some of them, do manage to clip him just above that belt armor, actually. The way Austin works, if you haven't seen some of the videos on it or seen the ship, its upper belt is 32 millimeters of armor, so he can actually auto-bounce Battleship AP. And it's really hard to Citadel them when they're angling well like that at closer ranges. But the deck armor is still easily overmatchable, so I think that's where we must have hit. I was hoping that our Napoli out on the flank would have finished him off there, but unfortunately not quite, so we'll try and deal with him later. Broadside Satsuma, 10 kilometers. Yeah, a little disappointing. Like, do we have the pen? Don't we have the pen? It's a little disappointing. Hopefully we can deal with this Austin. Let's see. AP shells, 10 kilometer range. Our pen is 598 millimeters. You know, maybe just poor dispersion got unlucky. The shatters maybe came from hitting the water first and then impacting the ship after. That's okay. We get another opportunity, hopefully. And then he goes dark. I was a little worried. The other Satsuma earlier on in the video who got me from like 40k HP was fresh in my mind, and I'm much more broadside now, so I was expecting to die here. And he actually shot the Schlieffen. So we get a free shot into him here now, hoping to take him out here. That's better. That's better. We take those. Still didn't kill him outright, but 3 Citadels feels really good compared to that first salvo, so I'll gladly take it. And now, right at the end here, I probably should have died to that. That's an Ohio salvo, by the way. Maybe it longer. He must have just been outside of range to Citadel us, I guess. It does have more armor than Monty does, even though it is more exposed, the Citadel. It's a little thicker to get through, but, I mean, 11, 12 kilometers. So I guess the enemy Satsuma got away with one, and I also got away with one. Or maybe more, as this Ohio is not actually Citadeling us still. It's ridiculously tanky, the Maine, man. You just kind of just chill in the middle of the cap here, and they gotta kill you. And they do in this case. They certainly will, but I think our team went on to win this one. I actually don't remember, but this is the last clip I've got for you. So we'll go into the port after this, and I'll show you the build that I ended up with. Again, not for randoms, but for ranked in particular, where you can guarantee those closer range engagements. This thing works really good. Getting that reload down is very nice. Popping the combat instructions in case there's a fire, but there's no fire. It's just some secondaries that take us out. But I certainly had a really, really good time playing the Maine in ranked and doing pretty well just by full sending it in, seeing what this ship was capable of. What I ended up settling on was a build that looked like this. A very aggressive build. We're certainly going super heavy AP. I think that's just one I run in randoms as well, just because the alpha damage increase is so nice to have. Furious to give us extra reload for those fires on our ship, and taking close quarters combat, giving us 10% reload anytime someone's within secondary range. 9.2 there, feeling pretty good in ranked where we can get close to people. Adrenaline Rush as well, giving us reload, and then improved repair party, giving us that 5th heal in games where we live long enough to make it through all 4, because you're going to get 2 million potential damage in a Maine. It's just that tanky, so this is pretty much guaranteed a 5th heal in most games, and you're not always going to need to use it, is the other thing. Secondary mod here. Turret Traverse would be useful at these closer ranges to swap targets quicker, but secondary mod makes it so we actually get that 10% reload buff more often. So taking it there. And over range mod, where I'd probably run range mod at random since no spotter plane here. Very annoying, actually, that there's no spotter plane for Maine. So I do take range on random builds. That way I can, let's say the carrier decides to go broadside. I can make that shot rather than just not even having the range outright for it, which is a little disappointing. And then going accuracy mod as well on Maine. I did, like I said, try the reload mod. It's kind of hilarious, but giving up 11% accuracy is too much, I think. So that's the build. I think, well, we've looked at Maine many times before, but I had a great time with this thing. And before I go, I should probably show you guys the armor values here as well. Just so you can see some of those times where we got citadeled that, yeah, very much above water, this citadel. And well armored, certainly, but also not so much that you're just immune to damage, right? At closer ranges, you are going to get smashed through here. And through your bow as well, as we saw from that Satsuma that just hit us really well earlier on in the video. But that's the Maine in ranked. Very, very powerful. So is it a month or two before this comes into the tech tree for everyone? Look forward to it. This is definitely the brawling super battleship, in my opinion, even more so than Hanover. Sure, Hanover's got those secondaries, but you saw what we were doing to those Hanovers and GKs in this video. The superstructures, man, they're just so juicy. Even when they angle, it doesn't really matter. It's a lot. But thanks for watching to the end. This is a long video. I appreciate you sticking around, and I'm glad you enjoy the content. And have a great rest of your day.